Hey guys, back for our first video podcast of this season. I'm joined by the University of Houston beat writer for the Houston Chronicle, Joseph Duarte. How are you guys doing today?
Good, thank you.
Good. Now, this game, what were your immediate thoughts from it?
Well, first of all, who saw this coming? The weeks leading up to it, this was a team that a couple of years ago U of H beat real handily, but I think Tony Levine was prepared because he made a point to say that these two teams were nothing like the teams from a couple of years ago. He called it a clean slate, and it proved it's not. To see U of H get handled the way they did on both sides of the ball really surprised me. 30-13. It's been a long time since you've seen a U of H offense not put up any points. So the Case Keenum era, post-Case Keenum era, began tonight, and it began with a really big thud.
Do you think it happened? Do you think it had a lot to do with what Texas State was doing, or did Houston look a little bit off in its game plan?
Well, I think it was a combination, but at the same time, David Pylan, who took over at quarterback, you'd look at him on the field, and he was causing some of his own problems. He was rushing when he didn't have to rush. A lot of the passes that he threw were off, really just nowhere near receivers at times. U of H did not throw the ball deep like we've seen them in the past. So I think really those things, and the fact that you're not on the field very long, I think they were on the field for about 16 minutes in the game, really says a lot of 3-and-outs. U of H in the past has been used to quick strike drives, but they always produce points. They didn't get any points tonight. So young team or not, Coach Levine after the game said, we have a lot of work to do, and it's very obvious that they do, or this could be a really long season.
Now, one thing I noticed was that Texas State's secondary was just all over the ball. I mean, they had 7 pass breakups. I'm just looking at the stats right now. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different guys with multiple, one or more pass breakups with let's see, Joplin Mark 2 with 2. I mean, he's a defensive lineman, so obviously they had a good push on this line. They had 4 guys coming back on it.
Right. They obviously, they really took control up front, and as far as the DBs go, this was a University of Houston offense that had a clean slate, 4 new receivers. They broke in a couple of freshmen today, and one of the freshmen accounted for the biggest play of the night, the 64-yarder by Larry McDuffie.
Okay.
But really, there was just no downfield, deep vertical passing. It just, again, Pylan wasn't under pressure a lot, but you could tell he got rattled a little bit. And even though they said after the game that the experience or lack of it wasn't a factor. I mean, this is a guy who had 8 starts a few years ago, so I don't think it was anything that he hadn't seen. It's just it had been a while for him. So hopefully, if you're the University of Houston, you're hoping this is a one-time deal.
What's the biggest thing that surprised you about Texas State tonight?
Oh, just the way that they came out and took control. The University of Houston knew that they were going to run the ball. This is a team that last year rushed for almost 200 yards a game. Curry, that really, I believe he had a great game here at the Texas Bowl when he was with Navy. For him to come in there, and it didn't matter where he ran, sometimes he just dared them, and he ran up the gut and said, stop me if you can. They couldn't. And the fact that they jumped out to the type of lead, I thought there were a few moments with a couple of either turnovers or bad mistakes that Texas State would have allowed Houston to get back into this game. They did not allow them to. So really the surprise for me was they got on them early, and then they basically put their foot on their throat and didn't let them get up.
And you talked about that Texas Bowl that Curry was in with Navy back in 2009. He combined, I think, for 206 total yards and a touchdown. And tonight, he had the huge 131 rushing, which is a new career high for him, and he had, I believe, 21 receiving. So even though that, he still scored 3 touchdowns, and tremendous performance from him. I mean, plus that 73-yarder, he was saying that he's never run that far in his life in a game, so he was winded near the end. But,
you asked me earlier in the week, what did I think rushing-wise the number should be, the magic number would be. I said 150. Well, he almost had that by himself. They had 248 for the game. Obviously, if that's what your bread and butter is, which it appears that that's how Coach Dennis Franchione likes to do things, they're going to be successful when they do it. I think this is a great test for them. I think maybe the University of Houston maybe have been a little overhyped or overrated coming in. But now we know where they stand. Another thing, Charles Sims, who's their most explosive player, only had 1 catch out of the backfield. This is a guy who leading rusher, 51 reception kind of guy last year. Got to get him more involved, and they admitted it tonight. They have to get him more involved. But when you're only on the field 3 plays and out, or I believe I counted 12 of the 14 drives were 2 minutes or less. You can't do
Can't
anything.
have that.
Yeah.
And finally, for Houston on their side of the ball, is this a reason for concern? Is this like a flash in the pan that they're thinking, or is this like, this could be dire straits?
Well, there's concern because this is what you have now. You don't have that veteran quarterback. You don't have those receivers that you can lean on. You have an inexperienced receiving core. You have a still young quarterback, and you have a lot of young, inexperienced freshmen that are going to play. So this is what's now in front of them, and I think it's probably now going to get worse before it gets better. I mean, I know that's a little harsh after one game, but after seeing tonight just what they were able to do, you hope to find some glimmers here and there to take. There aren't a lot of those. Defensively, though, I will say the second half, big improvement, a lot of adjustments. Derek Matthews, Phillip Stewart, those guys.
Plugging holes.
Yeah, really. They were able to plug in some things. But again, they gave the offense some opportunities to get back into it, and the offense did not capitalize.
And one thing, I think Texas State had about 3,000 season tickets left for the Texas Tech game. I believe they're all sold probably now.
Yeah, this is the best thing for if you're a box office. This is your box office hit.
Yeah.
This will sell tickets now.
Excellent. Joseph Duarte, Tyler Mayforth once again. Thank you guys for joining us. See you guys later.